Hey everybody, Steven here. 4 weeks out now after my shoulder dislocation last month in December. Starting off the new year, shoulder's feeling pretty decent. There's still some movements where I can tell it's like it's not 100%, right? These past couple weeks, because it's been a week and a half since my last video, just focusing on and doing my post-rehab stuff before any upper body movements. I've actually switched now into not only incorporating that, but also working just the shoulder in general. So just band front raises, hitting it at different angles too. So front raise and lateral raise, a lot of rear delt stuff. I'm gonna focus a little bit more on the front delt, the front part of my shoulder. Get that strong, just because that's where those glenohumeral ligaments have been stretched out. That's where we have a lot of weakness. The hope here being the more mass I can put on that area, the stronger I can get it. It will keep that shoulder a little bit more stable, and still incorporating the internal-external rotation, strengthening my posterior shoulder girdle, and just my whole posterior or backside part of my body, that whole chain, that whole muscle chain. Today I actually did kettlebell stuff with a client of mine who has become a Russian kettlebell certified trainer, Charlotte. She has an amazing story. Went from 269 pounds down to like 138 pounds and became a certified trainer, right? With one of the certifications that, in my opinion, is one of the hardest to get, which is the kettlebell certification. So trained with her, worked on Turkish get-ups and making sure that both shoulders are stable in that movement. I just haven't really messed with get-ups, Turkish get-ups that much because of the instability in my shoulders. So worked on that, and then worked on some swings, and I'll actually attach the video that she sent to me that she recorded at the end of this, so you can kind of see some of the progress I've made with that. Working on the timing of the hinge, keeping everything tight, really focusing on the midsection of the core to stabilize all of that. It's interesting to see the overlaps with the different modalities that I've trained in, with the Russian kettlebell stuff and the Strong First stuff, because I've trained with Dustin Ripito out of Strong First, and where they're different, where they're alike, where there's crossover, where I can take something from the MoveNat world or the dynamic neuromuscular stabilization world, whatever, the medical exercise, and then transfer it to what she's having me do, right? So looking forward to training with her more. I'm actually training with her because I want to go down and do the On It Foundation certification. I want to be a little bit more well-rounded. I also want to know these basic movements better, so that when I go down there, if we do incorporate those movements, I'll feel a little bit more secure in the movement, as opposed to feeling off where I might risk an injury. And if I'm uncomfortable with the movement, I typically just don't push it. So working on that. And also I want to make sure that the shoulder's pretty stable before we go down there, because with the On It certification, we'll be doing a lot of club and mace stuff, which I'm not very familiar with at all, which is one of the reasons why I want to go down there. But using the swings to kind of strengthen the shoulder girdle to get that explosive power, the get-ups to make sure that my shoulder is stable in that overhead range, especially where I'm going through a movement that's more dynamic than just a shoulder press or front raise or something like that. So looking forward to training more with her, to going down to that. I also signed up for the grip certification, which kind of builds off the DNS stuff, the dynamic neuromuscular stabilization. I'll attach a link so you guys can look at the grip stuff. Very curious to see how that goes, because I got a buddy that trains with grip that we did the DNS together. He's adamant about this being a good kind of progression and extension out of the DNS that is more applicable to our clients. So what I've seen so far looks phenomenal. So I'm excited about that, because that'll be something that'll help my shoulder as well. I'm trying to branch out too, because with this, if anybody else has a shoulder injury, you're gonna have to find kind of the stuff that definitely works for you, first of all, but also something that where you're not gonna be stagnant and you can progress within that, challenge that shoulder to a degree, instead of just always doing shoulder press and stuff like that. So that's really what I want to get. Plus, obviously, I want to help my clients too. I think that a lot of trainers become stagnant in their practice. They kind of end up doing the same thing over and over again because they're not doing workshops and certifications and all these other things. So pushing on that end, and also serving myself at the same time. So this has been like I said, the week 4 update. So far feeling good. I haven't jumped at all. I'll probably actually jump this week. I won't push it too hard. I just want to see how that shoulder does with the explosive kind of movement with my arms coming up like I'm doing right now. I'm not quite sure how it's going to react to that, where it's a jerking motion and it's more explosive. So we'll see. I feel more comfortable now than I did obviously a couple weeks ago. So time to test it, test the waters out. Last thing I want to do is just avoid it, and then I become afraid of it, and then I'm required to jump at some point and I mess up out of fear, not because I've actually have a shoulder that's limiting me in that regard, right? I'm not injured still or in that acute part of that injury. It's really, I was afraid of it and I messed up. So I always make myself go back to the same jump too. I might not do it in the same capacity, but I have to conquer that fear of whatever that is. So I dislocated mine at my son's school trying to jump over something. I might not push the jump over, but I'll definitely jump up on top of and then down from that object. Like I said, gotta conquer the fear, as they say in parkour, and or they say conquer the jump. Ito likes to say conquer the fear, which I think is very, very true. I don't wanna be in a position where I'm afraid to use the shoulder, because it's just gonna get weaker if I do that. Right now, testing it out and looking at, hey, I can't do certain things. It's just such a high risk to little reward, right? I understand that, but you still have to kind of do daily function stuff. You still want to push the shoulder. You want to explore what it's capable of. You want to know those boundaries as well and test those boundaries. So like I said, you're not stagnant with the development of the shoulder or your movement patterns or whatever it may be. So this has been the update. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button for me. Looking forward to 2018, pumping out more content for you guys. I got a couple video reviews of some supplements that I've been testing out for the last couple months that I'm excited to share the reviews. They're actually really, really good. And then more MoveNat videos and more post-rehab stuff coming up as well. So check back soon for that. Thanks for watching, guys.